Hello again, beautiful people. Welcome to Dilionyando's Take. If you are new here, karibu. If you're a return subscriber, thank you so much for hanging out with me again. I do appreciate that. If you've not subscribed yet, what exactly are you waiting for? Come on, subscribe, click that notification button so that you don't miss any video that I post out there. I will appreciate that. So somebody asked me, or I've gotten 3 or 4 questions inbox asking me how I got to German, how I got to the job market. And I thought maybe today I'll tell my story of how I got into the German market. How I got to German is not a big story on it. It's a story on its own, but I wouldn't want to involve there's certain people I wouldn't want to involve in my story because of dirt and shoots. If you're in Deutschland, you know what dirt and shoots is. Always about this privacy. I don't want to step on people's toes, so I'm just going to be grob about how I got to Germany. So the Bible says, give Caesar his due, and that's exactly what I'll do, because I have to say, without my ex-husband, I wouldn't have gotten to Germany. We got married in Kenya. Actually, let me start from the beginning. We met, and then I tried to come to Germany severally with the fiancé visa. I just wanted to come and visit, but I got denied the visa again. And then we decided, well, the only way I could land in Germany is to get married. So we got married and I came to Germany. And as life or the fate would have it, after around 2 years, we realized this is not working. Long distance was working perfect for us, but living together is just not working. So we went our separate ways. That's how I came to Germany. I'll make it very short, and it's that short. So, like I said, give Caesar his due. I would say without my ex-husband, I would have gotten to Germany, and for that, I'm grateful that I got here. So we separated after around 2 years, and that was a tough time. Being in a foreign land, you don't know, you don't have your family or your support there. You don't have the language with you. You don't have a stable job. You don't have a stable visa, because if you come to Germany with a marriage visa, you're expected to remain married for 3 years before you can get your visa prolonged. So being that we separated after 2 years was risky on its own. I thank God things went right, but at that time I was really going through hell and going through, let me just say, it was a depressing time because things were just not running right, and I was like, I have to start from zero again. It was tough. So I moved to a small apartment where around the town we were in, and the next question was, how will I get myself a job, and how will I get myself a visa to stay? So I knew to get a visa I have to have something stable, but I have nothing stable, and I can't go to the job market because I can't speak the language. So the first thing I did was to think of whether I could do cleaning houses. Actually, a friend of mine suggested you should go to people's houses and clean and stuff like that. Well and good, I can do that, but I can't do that as my main job. With cleaning services, or rather cleaning people's houses, there was no way I was going to hold my visa. And that was the number 1 challenge. Number 2 challenge was I didn't have a What is Führerschein? What is Führerschein? I didn't have a driver's license. Not to mention, of course, I didn't have a car if I didn't have a driver's license. So it was a question of I'll have difficulty going to one house to the other and if you don't know people and you don't know the place and you don't have this connection, it's also hard really to find people to go cleaning for. And being that you're a foreigner, it's hard even to introduce yourself and say exactly what you're looking for. I mean, it was yeah, so that wasn't an option for me. Then a friend of mine, unfortunately, we don't talk anymore. Life happened again. I can't tell what happened, but yeah. Back then, she helped me. I really appreciate that because she gave me this tip and told me I should apply for a job in a chocolate factory. I went to this chocolate factory and my job was to pack. You go in the morning for 8 hours straight, actually 7.5 because you have 30 minutes break, and the whole day it was just packing chocolates, moving them to the other side, actually it wasn't moving, but there is a band, so the chocolates come, you pack in, and the other comes, and you have to be fast. And I did this for around 2 months, and I was like, gee, Julie, this can't be your life. This can't be your life. This can't be the rest of your life. I mean, it's not just about the job itself, because it was really exhausting standing there for hours doing these, number one. Number two, I was like, at one point I'd really be brain dead because I really don't have to use my brain. It's just throwing the things in, not throwing, I mean arranging the things in the chocolate and moving. I'm like, you can do better than this. Disclaimer, for the people who are doing this job, I'm not dissing your job. I'm just saying it wasn't for me. That's it. So I was like, I really have to figure out again what I can do. Remember, at this time, I have a bunch of paperwork to do because in Deutschland, if you watched one of my videos, I said it's always letter after letter after letter after letter. You get a pile of letters. Now, if you can't even understand, if you don't understand the language, trust me, you are stressed. Whether you like it or not, you are just stressed because you always receive papers almost every day. It's a paper, it's a letter from I don't know which amt or which office or this revenue on that revenue, and you understand zero. So I was like, to get myself out of this cocoon, I really have to work on my language. So I went back to the language school. Until this time, I had done A1 because for the marriage visa, you need A1. I had only done A1, which, honestly speaking, is nothing. Will help you. Will not help you. Will not help you at all. So I went back to school. Actually, I had gone back to school back when I was with my ex-husband. I had already gone back to school. Out of Kichwangumu. Kenyans, we are hustlers. You don't just sit there and wait for life to happen. We go out and wait for life to find us on the way and move us in the direction. Anyway, so I went back to my language school. I did S2, B1, B2. Thank God I passed all of them with some colors, you know. And I was like, okay, good, Julie, now you have to find something for you. Remember, all this time, I'm using my savings. My savings are reducing more and more and more. And I'm like, at one point, I really reach a point where I can't cope anymore, and I'll have to go meld somewhere that I need money, job center, which for me was a horror because no. I just didn't want anything to do with job center. Number one, I didn't want that to be my life. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, Julie, you should have used that because there are people, it sounds bad, but that is the fact because I'm like, now that I'm working, I look at it differently. I'm like, I pay taxes every day, and all these taxes I use to support people who are not working. And I'm like, back then I wasn't working. I was really struggling. Why didn't I take advantage of the system that we have? But, well, That's it. I was scared of everything and everybody. The only thing that was my mind was like, Julie, how are you going to maintain your visa? How are you going to maintain your visa? Because one thing I knew for sure, there's no way I'm going to let myself be exported. Is it called? Oh, Julie, not exported. What's this thing again? Oh, damn. What is this thing again? Deported, you know. There was no way I was letting myself get deported back to Kenya, because I had gotten here, and I'm going to make sure I find a way to stay here. That was number one. Number two, there was no way I was going to take this opportunity away from my kid and take her back to Kenya. I'm not saying Kenya is a bad country. I'm just saying the economy there compared to the economy here, I would rather be here. I think that is self-explanatory. So there was no way I was taking my kid back to that life. We were going to be here, we were going to survive, we were going to struggle somehow, and somehow we would have to integrate in this community and build our future from here on. So I'm so good at digressing. Gee, where was I? I do a lot of meh. Then I forget where I was. Anyway, this is just a chat. We are talking. Oh yeah, I went back to school. Genau. I finished my best right course, and I was like, now I have to find a job. So here comes the problem. I've done my best right course. According to paperwork, I've passed my exams, but I need practice. I need to be able to talk. And in order to be able to talk, you have to go out there. Oh, Julie, just the thought of going out there and putting myself out there and forcing myself to talk to people, being that naturally I'm an introvert, was just torture for me. A friend of mine told me I should try apply for actually she didn't tell me I should try apply. She was like, Julie, you can do that. You should go and apply for FLEGE. What is FLEGE? Nursing. You should go apply for nursing. And I'm like, oh gee, girl, you don't know me. I can't do nursing. I can't deal with blood. I can't deal with any kind of fluish kind of, what is fluish kind? Any kind of liquid coming from a human body. I can't deal with that. I actually was like, I can't do this. But she was like, you go try. At least it will get you out there. At least you get a chance to talk to people and stuff. Now that I'm mentioning this, back to the chocolate factory. On the line, we were supposed to be packing, not talking, but packing. So it's sort of I had a lot of interaction with guys there. It was when we go for breaks, then we would talk, but not really talk, because 90% of the people who work there are Ausländer. What are Ausländer? Foreigners. Most of who can't speak Dutch. So I'm from Kenya, I speak English. The other one is from Romania, they speak their language. The other one is from Italy, they speak their language. So even communicating amongst ourselves was a struggle, because we don't understand each other's language. So there was not a lot of communication there. So I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna try this. I applied for nursing home next to my place, because the other thing I had to consider was like, I have a very young kid. She was now 10 years by that time, and I'm alone, so it's not like I have a family of friends, people who are going to be taking care of my kid when I'm not there. And I had to consider that I don't have a mode of transport, which means I have to find a place near where I stay to work. So I applied for a practicum in nursing home. What is practicum? Practicum is is it intern? I think it's internship, yeah, unpaid internship. I applied for internship in a nursing home and in a hospital, both of which were like 10 minutes walk from where I was living. So I applied for the nursing home today, and the next day I applied for the hospital. Interestingly enough, the next day when I applied, I went in the morning, dropped my CV, because I actually didn't post. I went and dropped my CVs over there, and I dropped my CV, and the hospital came back home and got a call from the nursing home telling me I should go for an interview. And I'm like, oh God, I have my first interview. But then I had a headache, because how exactly am I supposed to conduct this interview without being able to speak German? Anyway, I put on a brave face. I went for the interview. Honestly speaking, if you ask me, 80% of the things they asked me or what was said in this interview, I have no idea, because I couldn't understand what they're talking about, despite the fact that I had a BSVI. If you learn a language, please make sure you put yourself out there and practice talking the language, because otherwise these papers you have will do you no good. You really need to practice the language. You really need to talk to people. You really need to go out there. I don't know, just get out there and find places to talk with people, because if you learn the language and you're not using it, it will do you no good. Anyway, by God's grace, or I don't know if it was God's grace or it was the appearance I gave, or it was favor, or the interviewer just felt pity on me because I was like, I really need a job, or whatever it was. I have no idea, but I got the place for the internship. I had to do I was given internship for 2 weeks. Like, great. So I went for this internship, but deep within me I was like, I'm doing this, but I really don't think I'll stick around. I really didn't think I was going to stick around. But funny enough, by the end of the first day, I was 110% sure I belong here. You know, these things you just do and they feel right. There's some things you do and they just feel, yeah, this is where I belong. Anyway, needless to say, after the first day, by the end of the first day, I knew I want to be there. And that's how I did my internship. And when I was finished with my internship, after the 2 weeks, of course, you have to go down to the boss. You have to go down to the boss so that you tell them how the internship was, how you felt, just giving feedback. And I was like, and by the way, I'm looking for a job. And at first he offered me FSJ. I didn't know what FSJ was by that time. Now with time I've come to learn what FSJ is. He offered me FSJ and I was like, okay, what is FSJ? Because I didn't even care what FSJ was. For me, the question was, how much am I going to earn from this FSJ? Because hello, I need to survive. And he told me, how much did he tell me? I can't even remember. It was definitely less than 500. It was definitely less. I can't remember, honestly. Let me not scratch that. Let me not lie. I know it was a figure that I couldn't survive with. So I was like, well, I would really like to do this. I've loved what I've done right now, but I also have to earn a living. So if I'm to stay here and do this FATO thing, I will do that. But I just want you to know that I'm also going to look for a job out there because I need to earn a living. And he asked me to step outside for a while. I don't know whatever happened, talk to guys in there. I have no idea. Honestly speaking, it's so blur because I was sitting there, but I had 1,000 things. Like I said, there were so many things that were wrong in my life at that point. And you blend. I've come to realize that sometimes, or I don't know if it happens to me or it happens to everybody, but now that I'm doing self-cleansing of my mind, I come to realize that there's so many things in my mind that I've blocked that I honestly cannot even remember what happened if somebody asked me. I guess because they were exhausting to my brain, I guess, that I can't really tell you what was happening. But anyway, I know I stepped out for a while and then I went back in, and he told me, well, we can offer you a position to do that, like an ungelernt craft. Ungelernt, das ist like a layman. I don't know how to call that. Like I would do assistant nurse kind of, but I wasn't going to be doing like I I wasn't going to be doing like the real job the nurses do. You know, I would do the cleaning and just to get myself in there. It's kind of internship, let me say. It was kind of internship because I hadn't learned the nursing, kind of internship, but I was going to be paid less and I wouldn't be allowed to do everything that every other nurse does. Let me put it that way. So me, I call that favor because it's not every day that you get such chances. I call that favor. And I thank my boss. If he'll ever see this, I don't know if he'll ever see that. Whichever way, I thank you for the opportunity. And that's how I ended up working there I started in February. And then after 2-3 months, my von Bereichleiterin damals, in case you'll be watching this, there are so many Vickies, but Vicky, in case you'll be watching this, thank you so much for the encouragement you gave me. There are things you talk to people sometimes, there are some words you give people, there's some sentences you just throw them out there, but you honestly, I'm not going to get emotional. You don't realize the weight of your words to this person you said them to. And this leader of mine at this time really encouraged me in so many ways. Not just about work, not just about my personal life. I mean, she had an open ear and I really felt, I didn't feel left out. I didn't feel like a foreigner. I didn't feel like I have no idea. I didn't feel stupid because, bear in mind, I could understand just half of the language. So most of the time we had to talk using sign language. Like, guys, you guys supported me, really supported me, and I will always be grateful for that because that was a good foundation for me. No wonder I ended up doing this job because I just felt embraced in this team. I felt at home, I felt peaceful, I felt good about being there. So that's how I ended up there. And like I was saying, my team leader came to me after a few months and she was like, would you like to do the Ausbildung? And I'm like, oh, Ausbildung means would you like to study the nursing? And I'm like, wow, okay, I can't speak the language. Honestly speaking, at one point I was like, Julie, don't let this chance go because trust me, I don't let opportunities go. I'm a hustler. I'm a Kenyan. Hello, we hustle. We hustle. Like, on one side I was like, I really have to jump at this opportunity because I don't know if I'll get the chance again. And on the other side I was like, oh Julie, how exactly are you going to do this? So I think I'll put a cut on this here, and if this is interesting to you guys, let me know. I might continue with the story about the challenges I had going to nursing school, how I got to nursing school, the application process, and things actually you need to have, or qualifications for doing nursing in Germany, and just talk about my life here in Germany, how I came from struggling. Let me just start from Kenya, how I came to living in almost a slum in Kenya, to being here in Germany, owning my own house, having a career that I know I'll never be jobless, because trust me, with nursing in Germany, you will never be jobless. That I can tell you for a fact. And yeah, let me know if this is something that would interest you. So having said that, have a blessed day, have a beautiful day. The weather is so beautiful outside, but unfortunately I have to go to work. But yeah, I'll see you in the next. Bye bye.